Hey guys, once again, this is Bobcat Corner Live, number two, recapping the second game of the regular season for the Ohio Bobcats for the college football season. And yes, I'm getting a very late start here. It's almost 10 o'clock. As you guys can tell, I'm pretty tired right now, and Noah was not able to get the Bobcat flag up behind me, but that's okay. But we're just going to get right through this. At the end of the day, we got a win. Happy about that. It was not easy by any means. Give credit to South Alabama about that. But the Ohio Bobcats were able to pull off a 27-20 win over the South Alabama Jaguars, which in the back of my mind I was expecting because unlike Syracuse the week before, South Alabama did not pose as many challenges as Syracuse did. And I kind of felt that way going into this game, and apparently I was right because uh, certain things, certain things just developed the way that I personally thought they were going to develop. But in other ways, there are other things that really made me scratch my head quite a bit. It was a head scratching kind of thing for me today when watching this game between the Bobcats and the Jaguars. The first quarter was it felt very slow. The pace of the game in the first quarter was very slow. Um, I think both teams were just trying to get an understanding of how they wanted to attack each other, and you saw kind of like a defensive struggle early on in this game, low scoring early, but that would not last because the scoring did pick up a little bit here. And considering that South Alabama had just been in a shootout and just been like a offensive shootout last week against North Texas, 52-38, it was kind of expected on their end that they were going to have another kind of shootout kind of game, which kind of happened here. It was like a mini shootout all over again. So, yeah, 27-20, Bobcats pull off a victory. Happy about that. We got a win. Cool. And and once again, some positives to take out of this game. Um, Although we did not have as much productivity in the running game, we did just enough. I believe we did just enough to make it count in the running game. And let's start off with the running game for the Bobcats. Anthony Tyus III, uh, he was given the ball plenty and often. So 17 rushes for 74 yards, one touchdown. He did punch it in when the Bobcats got in the red zone. I was very happy to see that the Bobcats, they did not waste any time. They went down there, down the field, and just punched it in, which was unlike what happened against Syracuse last week. So that was definitely an improvement right there. And Ricky Hunt Jr., as I mentioned in the preview video the other day, he had 6 rushes for 73 yards, and he broke out a pretty big 59-yard run in the second quarter, I believe. And that was fantastic to see because I've been wondering what's been happening with Ricky Hunt lately. They've been like going back and forth between him and Anthony Tyus III. And when you have two capable running backs like that, you have to mix and match. You have to be able to pick your spots with running back one and then running back two. Sometimes it gets kind of challenging to do that. So I understand that. But yeah, Ricky Hunt Jr., he broke out a little bit in this game as well. So there was like a balance there with the running attack a little bit. Even Parker Navarro himself, the quarterback, he's a mobile quarterback, and he got some rushing yards in. He had 62 yards rushing for the game. And he scored a 10-yard rushing touchdown in the third quarter, which helped our cause. And in the passing game, this is where Parker Navarro really, he definitely did better in this game, which I expected him to do. As a passer in the pocket, Parker Navarro completed 20 of 28 passes for 204 yards and got one touchdown pass out of it. And overall, Parker Navarro did do a good job. He he managed the game well. He got the Bobcats within striking distance many times throughout the game. Drove them down the field. He did what he had to do. When he saw openings to run, he ran, and he ran it well. And he found the open receivers. He did a better job reading the field in this game against South Alabama, and he was really he had good eyesight. He was really checking down one receiver, then another receiver, and then he just found the open guy. So he did a better job with that in this game. And also, some notable stats here to go through for the Bobcats would be wide receiver Chase Hendricks. He stepped up, 4 receptions, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a really important 33-yard touchdown reception uh, that was in the second quarter, uh, pretty much before halftime hit. He got in for that touchdown reception. That was big. That really gave the Bobcats positive momentum going into halftime. So that was good. Rodney Harris II, another notable receiver, 4 receptions for 43 yards, and then Coleman Owen again, 5 receptions, 33 yards. It was pretty much a balanced attack for the Bobcats. It wasn't super run heavy or wasn't super pass heavy either. It was basically balanced, and I just think for the most part it was executed well enough. I mean, we did have our moments where it was like kind of back and forth, kind of like roller coaster kind of thing. But that's what you can expect when you exchange scores with a team like South Alabama. And speaking of South Alabama, got to give the Jaguars credit. Um, Obviously, the Jaguars, they play in the Sun Belt Conference. They don't play in the MAC, so there's no rivalry here. But it was definitely a good contest. It was an interesting game, playing a team that has good, promising talent, which the South Alabama Jaguars do have. So uh, I mentioned Gio Lopez. This normally the starting quarterback for the South Alabama Jaguars, but he did not go for this game. He was like a last minute scratch because he's been dealing with a turf toe injury, something related to a turf toe injury. So he could not go. So instead, the Jaguars went with backup quarterback Bishop Davenport. They gave him the start for this game. And overall, Bishop Davenport, he did well. I'm not going to lie, he did well. He did what he had to do. He's a mobile quarterback in his own right, and he showed off his skills. As a pocket passer, specifically, he completed 23 of 37 passes for 226 yards and 1 touchdown. And for both quarterbacks in this game, both Parker Navarro and Bishop Davenport, they both just got sacked once. So it wasn't like they got hit a lot, seeing that they're both mobile quarterbacks. But yeah, Bishop Davenport, yeah, he impressed me. The first time I ever seen him play, and he did well. He did a good job managing the game for the Jaguars as best he could. And yeah, also for the Jaguars, running back Demarion Bothwell. Did not even mention him in the preview video, but he showed up. He had 10 rushes for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. He had an 8-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. So you could tell it was like back and forth. If you watch this game, you can tell it was getting back and forth for multiple reasons, not just because of the plays on the field, but other stuff happening in between plays that either should or should not have happened. And I will get to that in a minute. But yeah, Demarion Bothwell, he did well in the running game for South Alabama. And also back to the wide receivers, who I did mention in that preview video. For the Jaguars, wide receiver Devin Boyson, he had 5 receptions for 77 yards. And wide receiver Jamal Pritchett, he had 8 receptions for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. And that was in the third quarter when that happened for Pritchett. And basically, there were times where I was getting pretty concerned watching this game unfold. Uh, the Bobcats went up at some point in the game. They went up 24-10. They were up by 2 touchdowns. So they were in the driver's seat, so to speak, in this game for some time. But then for some reason, things just got a little shaky, to say the least. So that was kind of concerning. And what I mean by that is that let's just go to it. The penalties that were committed by both South Alabama and Ohio in this game, it was pretty frustrating to see. Uh, Most of these penalties that were committed, it was just out of a lack of discipline. Both teams really lacked discipline when it comes to the penalties. So many like penalty flags are being thrown throughout the game, and some of these penalties, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Some of these penalties were just flat out dumb and undisciplined. Really, it just boggles my mind sometimes how the emotions that get wrapped up in the middle of a game, they just really just get the best of players sometimes. And that's why I keep talking about mental toughness, not just for the plays that you execute, but also in between plays that you don't know what's going to happen if players get so emotional and then they commit a penalty just out of ignorance or something like that. And I remember this one penalty that was committed by this by the Bobcats left tackle Carson Heidecker. Um, yeah, it was like really ticky tack kind of call, and it was like really weird. He was just like in the process of getting off the field, and then he just bumps into this cornerback, I think, for South Alabama. He just like pushes him or bumps into him. I don't know what was going on there, but that was like wrong place, wrong time for Carson Heidecker to do that. So, things like that, undisciplined penalties. It's like those are the kinds of things that you cannot have in the middle of a game. You cannot have stuff like that happening. And like I said, that was another thing that was getting very concerning for me to watch that, because I was like, guys, you need to just not do that. Just focus on the play at hand, focus on the drive that you're doing. You know, who cares if there's a opposing player right there, just go around him, circle around the guy. That's all you got to do. So, anyway, and there was like a turnover. Yeah, got to mention this turnover by the Bobcats with 1:36 remaining in the third quarter. I think that was when Parker Navarro just randomly fumbled the football. He had it in his hand. I think it was like trying to pass the ball, but all of a sudden he was like running, and then the ball got out of his hands. It's just one of those things. It's not. I wouldn't pin that on Parker. It was just that it's one of those things where it's like you just happen to lose the ball. It just happens. I mean, it just happens like that. But that was like another concerning part of the game where it's like, oh, here we go. You know, it, but yeah. And like I said before, it became a mini shootout of sorts in exchanging scores between the Bobcats and the Jaguars. And another thing that kind of got me concerned at points was once again to a lesser degree this time compared to last week, but still, just I'm just going to bring it up. A little bit of this about why I got concerned was that the red zone play calling. I mentioned it last week against Syracuse. I'm mentioning it just a little bit this week against South Alabama. The red zone play calling was kind of, middle ground, unsure, undecided kind of stuff going on there. It's still kind of an issue, the red zone play calling. Uh, Although, like I said, I do believe the Bobcats did a better job of just punching it in for a score when they had to, such as when Anthony Tyus, the third, got in the first quarter. Boom, there we go. Like I said, we did improve. I'm saying to a small degree, though, we still got to work on the red zone play calling. So yeah, but like I said, ultimately Bobcats win by a touchdown, 27-20, and I'm happy about that. And really, it's one of those games where you can look back and say, yeah, we did that. We got it going. We managed to make the best out of a situation that could have could have gone could have gone out of control, to be honest with you. But yeah, we were. I can tell that our guys, we were excited to be back home in Athens, Ohio, playing in front of the hometown crowd. It was a good sight. It was a good sight to see, and the fans were into it. They were making noise. You could hear them if you watched the game again. And yeah, and one more thing about South Alabama. I mean, credit to them. They gave it their all. They played a good game. They made us think twice about certain things. And going into this game, I had questions about South Alabama's defense. I had questions because, as if you saw the game between them and North Texas last week, South Alabama gave up so many points. So I'm like, okay, if South Alabama does that against North Texas, what do you think they would do against us? That's what I was thinking. So credit goes to South Alabama. Their defense woke up more than I thought they would in this game. They really focused on Anthony Tice III and got him down more often than I would have liked as a Bobcat fan. But that's what you do on defense. You take down the ball carrier or you take down the quarterback. That's what you do. So South Alabama, their defense woke up a little bit in this game. And like I said, it was more balanced than I thought it was going to be. The passing game was more present than what you would see previously against Syracuse. So yeah. Anyway, the Bobcats improved to 1-1 on the season. Week 2 is in the books now for the Bobcats. So we're moving on. We're 1-1. We're going to move on. Our next opponent is just going to be an FCS school, Morgan State. Probably not going to do much evaluation about Morgan State Bears. No offense to them, but I'm just going to take it easy next week. But I'll keep you guys posted about anything related to like injury reports or any new developments involving the Bobcats players, coaches, anything of the sort with that. But yeah, if you guys watch this game at any point, let me know. We got one person checking in here. Uh, yeah, I was just reviewing this game between the Ohio Bobcats and South Alabama Jaguars. It was a good game. Overall, good game, good enough. We got the win. Happy about it. You know, I've seen so much football, in my life, especially college football, where things go one way and then they go another way. And it switches back and forth so much. The momentum of a game just switches on a dime like that. So, yeah, I'm happy. Overall, I'm happy. So, yeah, if you guys watch this game, let me know what you think. Please provide comments down below. If Feel free to say anything about what you saw out of the Bobcats or the Jaguars in this game. And I'll be sure to provide you guys with more content going forward. It's not easy to do these things. I can tell that with all these YouTube channels that cover college football, you got to be dedicated to do this stuff. You got to be really committed to making good enough content so that people can take it in and go like, yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. I appreciate this. I'm going to keep going with it. So, yeah. One more thing. It's not really Ohio Bobcats related, but it is related to the MAC as a conference. It just made me smile because I was like, are you kidding me? In a good way. I was like, are you kidding me when I saw this? Somehow, some way, the Northern Illinois Huskies of the MAC, they went into South Bend and they played the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and they beat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 16-14 on a last-minute field goal. That's why I said, are you kidding me? So about all those talks about Notre Dame being a guaranteed college football playoff team, well, you might want to put that on hold for a little bit. I'm just saying, guys, credit to Northern Illinois. Shout out to them. Maction. So, yeah. Okay, guys. It's late at night and getting ready to finish the day. But we finished the day on a good note. Bobcats win. So this is Bobcat Corner Live, and I'll be sure to update you guys on Ohio Bobcats related stuff moving forward here. So, yeah, you guys have a good night. Take care. Bye.